There we go. Welcome, welcome. It should be set up so that people can just join, so I won't need to constantly be spamming that button to let people in. But welcome to the 4K synthesizers call. This is exciting. There seems to be a lot of people on this call, a lot of synthesizers. Crazy, crazy. What is this world? What is this world? How has this become a thing? How are synthesizers real life human beings that are now showing up on a Zoom call? It's so strange. There's been times I've met YouTubers in my life or people that I've connected with on the internet. I'm like, you're a real human being. And people say that to me sometimes. And that's what I feel with this call. I'm like, the people in the community, they're real human beings. Anyway, there is a quick agenda for this call, as you guys may have seen on the post that I made in the synthesizer school. There's lots of ideas for things that I thought could be cool. And by the way, one of the reasons that I'm testing this format of a live stream is because it excites me a lot. And it excites me because it's the closest feedback loop between you as a creator and your audience. If you sit on Twitter and you create tweets, if you make YouTube videos and you're sat in front of a camera, that's great. But sometimes it feels like, I don't know who I'm making for. Or sometimes it's difficult to just sit in a room and talk to yourself in front of a camera. Whereas I'm excited by live streaming because now I can see your guys' faces. I can interact with you guys on the chat, which, by the way, can be the primary form of communication throughout this live stream. And now I know exactly who I'm creating for. And that's really cool because I get constant feedback if I'm doing something well. If you guys like something I'm saying, you can drop it in the chat, and it allows me to iterate and improve. One of the important parts of deliberate practice. If you guys have read that book, really good book. I'm going on tangents already, but the book basically says that in order to become great, it's not just about putting in 10,000 hours. It's about putting in 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. And one of the elements of deliberate practice is quick feedback loops. Anyway, that's a long way for me to say I'm excited to be here with you guys. And this is some of the things that I want to cover on this call. But before we get into that, the chat is up and running. Where are you guys from? Can you guys drop in the chat where you're from? And also, if you can drop in the chat at what stage of the journey you're at. So have you created your first piece of content yet? Are you regularly uploading? Have you made your first dollar yet? How much are you making? How many subscribers do you have? Drop some kind of a ballpark figure as to where you're at so that I know how to cater what it is that I'm talking about. Cool. So we have Ricard from Spain, Eli from Finland, Gomez from Brazil. I'm going to pronounce so many of these names wrong, by the way. And someone's drawing stuff. Stop doing that. Greece, Netherlands, France, India, Ireland, Portugal, India, Chicago-ish, starting in Colombia. Okay, cool. 175 subs. Someone from the UK, Southampton. I was living in Southampton for a little bit. 200 subs. 8K subs. Vlad, you're the biggest in here so far. 250 followers, 2,000 subs, 100,000 euros freelancing. Nice work, these. 80,000 YouTube, 33,000 on TikTok, freelancer, newbie, 270 subs. Okay, 13 subscribers. Nice. Damn. Cool. So some of the stuff to talk about. And by the way, can you guys see this red line from the left to the right of the page? I think someone has drawn that. Anyway, we'll ignore it. Some of the things to talk about, and let me know which thing you want me to cover first in the chat. I've had some cool ideas around the art of audience growth content systems. And part of the reasons I like this live stream is because the things that I've been thinking about today turns into the content that I can create. So I can just riff on some of the things that I've been thinking about. The summary there is that I see lots of different ways of doing things. So I'm working with James Janney at the moment. He's got a very specific style of creating his content. I also see, basically, there's lots of different styles that work in building an audience. And I'm starting to notice distinct styles and starting to notice that the key differentiator over which style works best is all around your niche. It's all around who it is that you're trying to target. So I can kind of riff on that for a bit. The impact of AI on content creation. I'm sure some of you guys have seen Chat GP or whatever it's called, that latest chat AI, and it's good. And you can use that for content creation. And also, the more that AI and the better AI gets, the more volume that there's going to be in the content creation space. But there's ways to actually use that increase in volume as a way for you to capture attention, which we can talk about. The crazy tactic that Imran Ghazi used to blow up. So if you guys see this, you can see that he is now searched twice as much as Alex Hormozi. And he's done a very specific tactic that I've spoken with some of the people on his team to try and figure out what that tactic is. So there's interesting stuff in there. Next one, the synthesizer movement. There's 4K people now in the community, and I see this as being just the beginning. So I'm excited to talk about the synthesizer stuff, as well as my work with creators like James Janney, who has 1.3 million subscribers or something, Sam Ovens, whose podcast is coming out very soon, and I'll be working on helping him get the podcast in front of as many people as possible, as well as Nabal Ravikant. Interesting stories within that, as well as we can all just share some of the valuable content we've been going, some steps, my 13-step plan to go from $0 to $10,000 a month. One of the memes of this community was I tweeted once that getting to $10,000 a month was easier than killing the Ender Dragon in Minecraft. Then for, I think it was 2,000, maybe 3,000 synthesizers, we got together and we killed the Ender Dragon in Minecraft. So now that we've done that, now it's time to hit 10K a month. We can talk about that. Next thing, questions. I'll do some Q&A, as well as some hot seat stuff, similar to Gary Vee or Dave Ramsey, where I unmute somebody, we have a chat, you talk about your goals, talk about your problems, and myself, as well as everybody in the chat, tries to help you solve your specific problem that's holding you back from getting what you want, as well as playing some chess in preparation for the 4K chess tournament, which is happening tomorrow. So what do you guys want me to talk about first? Drop in the chat what you want me to talk about first. Thirteen steps. How to monetize my free school group, YouTube audience growth, how to make 10K a month, 13 steps. Seems like the core part is 13 steps, audience growth, as well as some hot seat stuff. Cool. Well, we'll start with the 13 steps, which in preparation for this call, I tweeted about. And I made the claim that getting to 10K a month is easier than beating the Ender Dragon. And I think that that's true if you have no external sources of information to speed up your process. So the only reason that we were able to kill the Ender Dragon when we all got together and did it was because we had seen other people kill the Ender Dragon, and we knew the steps, and we knew that, for example, you had to find Ender eyes, which you get from killing Endermen, and you had to combine those Ender eyes with magma cream. There's no way we would have figured that out if it wasn't for finding people that had already beaten the Ender Dragon and showing us how to do it. And the same thing applies with making $10,000 a month. There's hundreds of people out there that have made $10,000 a month online. And some of them talk about how they made $10,000 a month online, but 9 times out of 10, they talk about it in some of their paid courses. So there are legitimate proven processes that if you follow will get you to 10K a month. Just 99% of those proven processes are hidden away behind a paywall. So I want to talk about one of these proven processes, which is one of the ways that you can get to 10K a month, very similar to the way that I did it. And hopefully that's valuable. But before I do that, Owen has just dropped an image in the chat, which I couldn't help but opening. Another inside joke. Okay, I'll share my screen and explain this inside joke for the people that don't know it. So one of the types of tweets that I created on Twitter that went really viral was me starting by saying, I am 22 and I did this thing. And I got in the habit so much of saying this that even after I turned 23, my default was just saying, I'm 22 and here's what I've done. And someone called me out on one of my tweets. Like, hold on a second, you said you were 22 over a year ago. And I was like, oh no, I've been lying to everyone. I've been lying to everyone saying that I'm 22 when I'm 23. So the meme here is that even when I'm 80, I'll be making the claim that I am 22. Cool. All right. I wrote a tweet storm on 10K a month, which I think is a pretty proven process. I think that if you follow these steps, then it's possible to get to 10K a month. And the first one is believing that you can do it. I listened back to some of the voice recordings I had with the very first mentor that I had. His name was Sunny T. And the number one problem that I had that I would send in these voice messages to him on repeat was, I don't know if I can do this. What's the point in me even trying? I don't believe that I can do it. What if all of this time is wasted? What if I should just be sticking with my uni degree and getting a normal job? What if I fail? What if I can't do it? What if I'm not good enough? And that wasted so much time in my journey because I didn't attempt with seriousness to do the things that I thought that I needed to do to get what I want, because I didn't believe that if I did that, I would get what I want. It's like, why am I trying so hard if it's not going to get me the thing that I want to get? What's the point? And I caused so much time just procrastinating, stuck on that single belief. So the first thing you need to do is have what feels like irrational self-confidence. It feels to you that you have no evidence in your life that suggests you can make 10K a month. This is for the beginners, but you have to believe that there is a chance that if you do the causes that lead to the effect that you want, you will get the effect that you want. Because life feels so emotional. We go through life thinking that life is happening to us, thinking that there's more to it than just cause and effect. But in reality, all the world is cause and effect. And all it has ever been since the origin is cause and effect. Your life right now is the way it is now because there has been a series of cause and effect chains that have happened up to now that have led you to where you are now. Things have happened in the world, which have caused other things to happen, which have caused other things to happen, which has caused life to be as it looks like right now. And there are many things in life that we can't control, but there are also many things in life that we can control. And the things that you can control in your past, the decisions you've made, the actions you take, have led you up to where you are now. And that's a fact. So accept that fact and recognize that if you're not where you want to be, if there is an effect in the future that you desire, which is basically what we call a goal. What is a goal? It's something in the future that we desire. Then if everything happens on cause and effect, assuming that your goal is not breaking the laws of physics, there is a very specific set of causes that if you execute upon will help you reach the effect that you desire. This is not magic. This is not maths. There is nothing to get emotional about here. This is simply physics. This is simply cause and effect. So in the pursuit of getting to 10K a month, or if you're at 10K, getting to 100K a month, or whatever your goal is, it's just about the process of identifying what are the causes that leads to the effect that I desire, and then relentlessly executing on those causes. So all of that is to say that you can get what you want. You just need to figure out what you need to do, and then you need to do them, and you'll get what you want. That belief that limits us causes so much damage. Step number 1, pick a niche. Now, there is a specific process that you have to go through, specific steps that you have to go through in order to generate an income online. And the very first part of that process is identifying the niche. You can't figure out what you need to sell unless you're figuring out who you're selling to. If I'm now just asking the question, what do I sell? Like, I don't know, there's glasses here, I could sell glasses. There's a little notepad here, maybe I should sell notepads. Before you can figure out what you need to sell, you need to figure out who you're trying to sell to, because once you know who you're trying to sell to, you know what their problems are, you know what their desires are, and the problems and desires are the things you need to understand in order for you to figure out what you need to sell. So the very first step is to figure out what your niche is, who it is that you're trying to help, who it is that you're trying to sell to. Now, when I was doing this myself, I actually used this specific Excel spreadsheet to help me figure out the niche problem. And by the way, this is a little bit of a disclaimer. These are the 5 different variables that need to be solved for in order to generate an income online. You need to know the niche, the transformation, the price, the mechanism, and the access channel. We'll get onto this later. For now, let's just focus on the niche. Let me zoom in a little bit. Within the niche, there's a few different elements that you can use to try to figure out whether this niche that you've chosen is good. First of all, just define what the niche is. Second of all, define whether or not the niche is wealthy. And the reason that ideally, if your goal is to generate $10,000 a month in the shortest period of time, you definitely want to choose a wealthy niche, because the value that you provide isn't based on the service that you provide. It's based on who the service you provide is for. For example, if I was going to go to some website, say I'm going to some random website that sells shoes and they hardly get any customers, and I help double their conversion rate on their website. Cool. They went from selling 1 shoe a day to selling 2 shoes a day. I've now generated $50 worth of value per day for them. So I can charge them $10 per day because I'm generating 50, so I can charge 10. Now imagine I go to Amazon and I help Amazon double the amount of sales that they make. Even if it was the exact same service that I did for both of these different people, the value that I generate from helping Amazon double their sales is so much more than some random small website. So if you want to make a lot of money, you have to generate a lot of value. And to generate a lot of value, you have to go to people that are in a position for you to generate a lot of value for them for, which is often bigger, more advanced creators, entrepreneur businesses, right? So wealthy. Next one, you need to like your niche. Part of the reason I love this synthesizer community is because the more that I speak with you guys, the more that I like you. And as weird as that sounds, most people are selling to people that they don't like, which means that they don't care about their niche. They don't care about their audience. They don't care about their customers. And that reflects poorly on every single thing that they do. So find someone that you like, and probably you like people similar to you. You like people that think in the same way to you. You like people that have the same values as you. So if you are your niche, that's a great thing as well, because you probably like people that are similar to you. And also, this is one that I added for myself, but you probably won't need to add it if you're starting from scratch and you don't already have an audience. But ideally, you want the niche that you choose to already be in your audience. So those are some of the variables to discuss. What I did was I came up with all these different opportunities that I could use. I've deleted them now, and I graded them. Red is bad, green is good, orange is okay, on all of these different metrics, which we can cover later at another point, to try and figure out what it is that I should be doing. And this was something that I did when I was in my retirement, when I was on my break, and it was really useful. So let's go back to the 13 steps. And by the way, do you guys have any questions on niche? Do you have any questions about picking a niche? No questions? Yes, can you expand? Expand on what? Ask scripts and people have raised their hand. How specific should that be? People with pain for more than 3 months is enough. So you want the niche to be as specific as possible. I met up with Jay Alto recently, who, let me just get up his Twitter. He creates content around thumbnails. So this guy here creates content around thumbnails. And he only started creating like a year ago, but he's got a decent following now, and he's making decent money now. And I think that the reason that this happened was because of how specific his niche was. If you're just starting out, the more specific you make your niche, the better, because it's almost like the sharp end of a spear. The narrower your niche, the easier it is for you to attract your attention of a niche. And you may be wondering, but this niche is too small. No, get your first customer, then get your second, then get your third, then get your 10th, then get your 50th. And if the niche is too small after your 100th customer, then you can expand into an adjacent niche. But start small, because it's easiest to acquire customers when it's super, super niche. It's easiest to attract the attention of an audience if it's really, really niche. So go way nicher than you currently think. And chances are, because the internet is far bigger than you realize, that narrow niche has depth beyond what you'll ever imagine. So go really, really narrow. I was speaking with Jay. I was trying to get him to come on this call to speak because I think his case study is so cool. What he did, I would say, is the most repeatable process for making money online, building an audience, which funnily enough follows the exact same steps that I'm walking you through here. So let me check the chat to see if there was any more responses, and then we can carry on. Cool. There's a few questions, but I feel like they're all too specific to warrant the attention of everybody on this call. But if you guys have questions still, feel free to ask me after or whatever. Next step, find out where your niche's attention is. Is it on YouTube? Is it a subreddit? Is it on Twitter? Are they in a specific community on school or Facebook? Do they read a certain blog? So who's your niche? Where are they currently spending their attention? Figure that out. Then start hanging out where they hang out. If they hang out on YouTube, create content on YouTube. If they're in a community, hang out in that community, become well known within that community. You want to spend as much time as possible with your niche as you humanly can. And the better you understand your niche, the better you're able to attract their attention and the better you're able to build a business around it. In the beginning, you have a lot of things working against you. You're just starting out. No one knows about you. The competitive advantage that you have is developing a really, really deep understanding of your niche. The deeper you know your niche, the easier it is for you to attract their attention, the easier it is for you to sell to them, all of those things. So hang out where they are and identify their problems. So the economy moves around because humans are here, humans want to get over here, and they have problems stopping them from getting to where they are, from where they are now to where they want to get to. That's why people spend money. People spend money to get closer to where they want to get to. That's it. And they're constantly on the lookout for vehicles that they believe will get them from where they are now to where they want to get to. We're not the best at identifying what vehicles get us from where we are now to where we want to get to. For example, many humans want happiness, and they believe that one of the things that's going to get them to happiness is spending money on watches and cars and all of this crazy stuff. So they go out and they do that. They are here, they want happiness, they believe that the mechanism that will get them from where they are now to where they want to get to, largely because of the advertising that some of these companies use, is buying expensive watches, buying expensive cars, smoking expensive cigars, whatever, buying expensive clothes. So they do that and they fail. But regardless, they bought that thing because they secretly, on a subconscious level, believe that buying that thing will get them to where they want to get to. So look at where you spend your money. And behind every single purchase that you make is some kind of a desire to get from where you are now to where you want to get to. Obviously, not all of them are bad, like cars and watches, whatever. Or I shouldn't say bad. It's not bad. It's just ineffective at getting you from where you are now to where you want to get to. Anyway, if you can identify these niches problems and you're able to identify what is the specific thing that's holding them back from where they want to get to, that is where the money lies. Because if you're able to identify a painful problem that's an immediate, urgent problem for a group of wealthy people, they will throw money at you, and they will throw money at this problem beyond what you currently imagine. Recently, I'm working with a big consultant who has no audience, no social presence. And their problem is that they want to have a social presence. They chucked 90K at me because they viewed me as the solution to get from where they are now to where they want to get to. And the only reason that they chucked 90K at me was because they were a large creator. And because when I genuinely helped them start creating content, the value that I create for them will be a lot more than 90,000. So it's 100% worth it for them to spend that money. That's why the niche matters so much. So identify their problems, figure out a problem that you can solve. Now, it's probably the thing that you're obsessed over. It's probably the thing that you love, the thing that you enjoy doing loads. That's probably the area where you've been able to find solutions to problems that most other people aren't able to find because you are simply more obsessed about it. If you can find that thing and you select the problem within the niche, great things happen. And if you are your niche, look for problems that you have solved yourself. Because if you've solved them, chances are there's other people that haven't solved them that will pay you to help them solve their problems. Next step, create an offer. If you go to the Twitter diagrams, there is a Google Drive folder with a bunch of different worksheets that Tozy released. And I would say these are these worksheets anywhere on the internet at the moment for you to go about the process of creating an offer. This is actually what Victor and I went through when Victor came to the UK, which is what led to us making the 90K sale. It was these exact worksheets. So they're valuable and they're worth going through, and they're worth going through every single question, even if you feel like skipping them. So do that. You've selected a problem. You've created an offer around that problem. Go to market. Communicate to your niche that you can help them solve their problems. Let them know if this is your beginning, if you're just starting out, that if you can't do it, you'll refund them. Make one social post a day. Send 100 DMs per day to these people. Do at least 30 different calls with these people. Don't give up. So keep making one social post a day or send 100 DMs a day until you've done 30 calls. And there is a very, 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 very high likelihood that at least one of those people will pay you. And if you do this right, there's a chance that they will pay you $10,000 a month, which would be the quickest and the most effective and the most simple way to make $10,000 a month online. It's this. You just get one customer that's wealthy and that has a painful problem that if you can solve it, would be worth more than $10,000 a month for them. That's the simplest way. That's the easiest way. Sure, if you're just starting out, and $10,000 a month is a huge amount. I fully understand that. You can start small. You can start with $1,000 or even less if you really want to, although I wouldn't. Deliver incredible results to them. Obsess over this. This isn't just about selling. You have to make sure that you're generating more than $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, whatever it is that you're charging. You don't have a long-term business unless you're consistently able to generate more value than the price that you're providing. And that's a really important part of the puzzle, as simple and as obvious as it sounds. Many people leave this step out. They just focus on the marketing and the sales. Once you've done that and you've got your first customer, you have to obsess and perfect the product. Otherwise, it's not going to work long-term for you, and it's not ethical to do long-term, so don't do it. Then once you've done that, you get a case study. You document the fact that you were able to generate this niche, a specific transformation, and you get that case study, and you use that case study as marketing to get more clients. So get that to 10K a month. Should happen pretty quickly if you do the above steps well, and keep doing this until you reach financial freedom. There'll be a point where your bottleneck will become product delivery, which is when you can change from an agency, a COVID-based course, or a digital product. But for now, that comes to the conclusion of the 13 steps to make 10K a month. Any questions? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Straightforward. Nice. Elaborate a bit on how to DM. How to make it less spammy. Figure out where your niche's attention is. Figure out a way to get in front of them. That's the suggestion to DM. That's the suggestion to make social posts. It's what's the niche? Where's their attention? How do I get in front of them? Chances are the best way to get in front of them is either to DM them or to make a social post. And if you do the offer creation process well, you're adding so much value to them. You're solving their immediate problem that if you do things right and you get resonance, it's not spam at all. These people will welcome your message. There's been people that have DM'd me. They've addressed a specific painful problem that I have. They've promised to help me solve it, and they've given some kind of a guarantee that they can do it. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad this person DM'd me. If you're viewing it as spam, you're either not solving a real problem or you have limiting beliefs around selling, because selling can be a great thing. There's been times I've been sold to and I've appreciated the person that sold to me because they helped me. It's like, who doesn't want to be sold if the person can actually help you? Other questions? Cool. I don't see any pressing questions. Custom message for each DM, yes. Yeah, don't just spam. What do we do when we have too many clients and we struggle? If you have too many clients, then the bottleneck is service delivery. Either find ways to systemize the service delivery or change your product delivery to a more scalable method, like a cohort-based course or a digital product. Nice. Cool. What should I do now? Damn, it's so interesting. There's people who this is their full-time job. They live stream on Twitch, and it's interesting. They have to be entertainers through and through. They have to always be on, which is an interesting skill. It's a good skill for me to practice, because there's times I'm like, well, what am I doing? What do I say now? What do I do next? Okay. Let me go back to that school thing, and I can come up with ideas. Or how about you guys just decide for me so that I make sure that I'm not just talking about things you guys aren't interested in. Here we go. How Iman hacked YouTube. Okay. That's interesting enough. So to start this story, Iman Gadzi is absolutely blown up recently. I think that between his TikToks, he's getting 100 million views plus per month. And if you search from Google Trends, he is being searched almost double Alex Hormozi, which in recent times has been the most notable case study of someone that's blown up roughly in this space using social media. So it's crazy. And he's done it in a much shorter period of time. It's taken him like a month or 2 months in order to do this. So I did my research. I did my digging, spoke with some people that I know that have connections with him. I've actually spoken with him a few times over WhatsApp before. We were going to meet up in London. It didn't happen. Anyway, I did my digging, and what he's done and what he's doing now is crazy, and it's clearly worked incredibly well. So I will reveal the covers. He has a team of 60 plus people that are cutting up his podcast clips and redistributing them over dozens of different TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts accounts. Alex Hormozi has this framework, this 4-step framework for creating content. Step 1, you just create something. Step 2, you create something consistently. Step 3, you create something consistently across all platforms. And stage 4, you create something consistently across all platforms and you max out the volume of each of those platforms. On YouTube, you can probably upload once a day. On TikTok, you may be able to upload 5-6 times a day. On Twitter, 8 times a day. So you max out the volume on your account on all these different platforms. What Iman did, and what people like Andrew Tate did, was they added another level to this framework. They added a 5th level, which is maximize the volume of output, not just on one social account, but across dozens of social accounts. You just play the volume game on steroids. You create hundreds of pieces of content about you across multiple different accounts. And if you're talking about things that are interesting, that resonate, slightly controversial, that is a recipe in order to blow up. So on each of these different accounts that he has, he pays them 1,500 USD per month for these editors. And these editors are in third world countries where $1,500 a month is a good salary. They each have to edit 3 videos per day on these accounts. And on each account, there is 2 different editors that are paired up against each other. And the winner gets some sort of a bonus at the end of the month. And then all of these different editors compete for an overall prize where whoever gets the most views on their account gets a monthly prize. And that's what Iman's doing to get 100 million plus views a month. Crazy. Yeah, crazy. Cool. We have a question. What other readings would you advise to read to really synthesize and get a vision of the whole YouTube machine, and more specifically the tools? to propose. I wouldn't recommend Sam Ovens's WeTube for mastering YouTube. I think that the advice there is good, but it's pretty basic advice. It's just upload once a week. Use your phone and record for a few minutes. If you really want to master YouTube, it starts with an understanding of who your niche is. Then it comes with an understanding of what sort of content would they love to consume. Then it comes from doing a competitor analysis. So if you read the book Blue Ocean Strategy, it's got a really cool framework where you basically plot all the different variables to the thing that you're doing. So for YouTube, it could be storytelling, thumbnail quality, title quality, editing quality, how much valuable information there is. You plot out all of these different variables that come to the craft that you're doing, YouTube for this example, and you plot out all of your competitors. You think, who is your niche watching and where are they on these scales? Do they have good storytelling? Do they have good editing? And you basically understand the whole niche. You do the competitor analysis. And then on each of these different accounts of your competitors, and by the way, competitors is just who is your niche watching. That's what a competitor is. You figure out what is the most popular videos on each of these different accounts. And by seeing who the most popular videos on each of these different accounts is, you can make an assumption that your niche is enjoying this type of content because YouTube serves videos that a niche will enjoy to watch. And that gives you an understanding of what your competitor's doing and what your niche is loving, where your demand is, basically the demand side of your niche. And then what you want to do is you want to try to identify the blue ocean. You don't just want to look at what's working and copy what's working. You want to get a good understanding of what's working and then try and think, how can I create something that my niche will love that nobody else is doing? That way you identify the demand and you identify the supply. So you end up creating content that has high demand and low supply. And the way that you do that is through an iterative process of testing. Me on this live stream right now is me humbling myself, going back to step one and testing different formats of content in order for me to find a format of content that my niche loves. That's the process, at least from my understanding. And there's definitely people that are out there better than me at doing this. Next question. Are you doing this to put the recording on school? There's a lot of different reasons that I'm doing this live stream. One, we hit 4K. How can we not do something special? We as synthesizers, there's 4,000 of us. Think about that. 4,000 other synthesizers that have clicked a button to say, I'm a synthesizer, and have joined this community, are in the pursuit of solving the disjointed knowledge problem, are in the pursuit of solving their own problems, sharing the solutions, are in the pursuit of going out, spending 1,000 hours living life, 1,000 hours solving problems, 1,000 hours consuming content, and synthesizing all of the best bits so that the people behind them can learn quicker. And there's 4,000 of us doing that. Crazy. But one of the reasons that I'm doing this is because I'm getting back into creating content. And this live stream is interesting to me because, one, like I said earlier, there's direct communication with you guys. So I'm far less likely to miss the mark. I'm far more likely to be communicating things that you guys are interested and engaged about because I'm speaking with you, you're asking questions, I'm figuring out what you guys want, that sort of thing. So I think it makes it easier to create content that people love if you're speaking with them, you know, live, actively. But also, Gary Vee, and I'll bring this up as I'm speaking, has a really good framework that he's been around for years now, and this is not a new framework, but I think that it's a valuable framework, and I will walk you through it now because it was really interesting to me. There's a high likelihood that it'll be interesting to you. This is Gary Vee's content model, which starts with a content pyramid. So he basically starts with a pillar piece of content, and he takes that pillar piece of content and then he redistributes it across all other platforms. This live stream is a test of me using live streaming as a pillar content. So at the end of the live stream, if you guys would like to see more, let me know. And then what you do with this pillar piece is you redistribute it and you create clips out of it and you put it across multiple different platforms. So this live stream could end up being a couple of YouTube videos. It could end up being a dozen TikToks or YouTube shorts. We'll see. I'm just experimenting. So you get this pillar piece of content, which could be a daily vlog, could be a Q&A show, could be keynotes, could be a podcast, could be a live stream. And then you repurpose it into micro content. Then you redistribute it across all of social media. This is the process. You document, you create, you distribute, you listen, you create, you distribute. I don't know. I feel like I'll flick through this now, but that's the 80-20, just what I've explained. So that's what this live stream is. And that's one of the reasons that I'm doing it, as well as to celebrate. Can I explain the disjointed knowledge problem in more depth? Yes. Okay. So on my journey, I can look back now and I can see that much suffering was unneeded. I suffered when I didn't have to. And I look back and I realized that a lot of time that I spent was wasted doing stupid things that I thought were good things. And in each of your guys' life at the moment, you have problems. And these problems cause you real stress, real suffering. They affect your life negatively. And there is 8 billion people now on this planet, 8 billion as of a few days ago, that have problems. And each of these people suffer in their own way. And many of these problems could be solved if these people had the right knowledge. I know looking back that there was times that I consumed a piece of content. I would be struggling for months. I'd consume a piece of content. I go, that's the solution to my problem. I would execute it within a few days. The problem was solved. And just like that, because of a specific piece of knowledge, the amount of suffering that I had in my life was reduced massively. So all of you guys at the moment with the problems that you're having, the problems that I'm having even now, there is content out there, there is knowledge out there, there are people out there that have solved our problems, that if we could get their knowledge and package it in a way that was put in front of us, our problems would be solved. Humanity's suffering would be massively reduced if we solve the disjointed knowledge problem. Because the problem comes when this knowledge is either stored in someone's head and they don't share it, or it's stored in some random piece of content that's 3,000 years old that people don't have the attention span to consume nowadays, or they don't even know that it exists. So if us as synthesizers are able to scour our life, scour the world, scour the internet, scour the content that is out there, and package it in a way that gets put in front of a niche that is suffering with a problem, we're able to massively reduce the suffering that is on Earth. And I view this as one of the most important problems for anybody to be focused on, because your paradigm, your beliefs dictate your life more than anything else, more than where you're born, more than your family, more than who you know, more than your job. It's what's in here. Your internal world dictates your external world. And the way you change your internal world is by providing it with software updates, by providing it with a new paradigm. And the most effective and efficient way to provide people with that new paradigm is to create content that shows them how the beliefs that they have are not accurate and replaces their beliefs with beliefs that are more accurate or more serving to them in their life. So if we can do that, we can change lives. And that is the disjointed knowledge problem. Ooh. One of my thoughts on productivity books videos, what I feel is most of them is recycled content. You don't need one, reread it, take notes, you'd have already written down. Probably shouldn't have that question, because there'll be people on the recording that won't be able to hear the question. The question is just, what are my thoughts on productivity books? I think that 90% of books should be blog posts, 90% of blog posts should be tweet storms, 90% of tweet storms should be tweets, and 90% of tweets shouldn't be put out. That is not an original quote. I cannot take credit for that. But I think that most books, just read the summary of, you'll get the 80-20. And I think that, like, what is productivity? Productivity isn't about doing morning routines, waking up at 5 a.m., journaling, meditating. Productivity is the art of getting what you want. Productivity is about seeing the world as it is and navigating reality to make your desires reality. That's what productivity is. Nobody really wants to wake up at 5 a.m. and do these morning routines. People want what they want. And they think that morning routines and productivity, they make morning routines their new God. Instead of looking at the goal, trying to figure out the most effective way to achieving the goal, they get distracted by productivity, a bright, shiny object. And now they focus on mastering productivity when they should be trying to master their goal. You see people trying to figure out for years, what's the best note-taking system that I should use? What's the best morning routine that I should have? And I think for 90% of people, it's a distraction from just focusing on what do you want? What is stopping you from getting what you want? And how can you solve the problem that's stopping you from getting what you want? And if your problem is, I lose 2 hours of productivity in the morning because I go on my phone for the first hour and a half, fine. The solution to that problem is a morning routine, but don't create solutions until you've identified the problem that solution is there to solve. Otherwise, you're wasting your time on solutions that are unneeded. Identify the goal, identify the problem, figure out the most effective way to solve the problem. And if that is morning routine, do that. Cool. Next question. Or maybe we should give it a break from questions. And maybe we should do some hot seats. So to re-emphasize, a hot seat is a term that was created from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, where he, after observing many successful people, if he had actually did that, there's rumors that he's a complete fraudster. But anyway, he saw that successful people did these masterminds. And what this mastermind is somebody will volunteer themselves to be in the hot seat. So we'll unmute them. Their goal is to identify their goal. So if you could write it out beforehand, that would be great. My goal is to blank. My goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers. Then you identify your problem. My problem is that my videos are bad. My problem is that my retention is low. Then me, and as a group, we'll all try to solve your problem so that you can reach your goal. Who wants to be in the hot seat? Raise your hand or put it in the chat, and I will. Here we go. Rex seems to have got to the goal. Yeah, okay, Rex, I will unmute you if I can find you. Here we go. Wait, I think I muted you again. There we go.
Yeah, I think you did, but I think it worked.
Nice.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for, willing to talk about this. We're taking this very seriously. So this was originally an idea I just threw out on the channel, but we've got 3 of us that are going for it, and we're going to be recruiting up to 8. In order to hit 10,000 subs in 1 month, we've realized that realistically we need to hit 1,000 subs in the first week. So we've actually bisected the challenge. We're burning the ships. So anybody who makes it past 1,000 subs and continues on with the challenge after that first week, if we all do not make 10,000 subs, then we have to delete our channels. Which initially sounds like the worst thing ever, but it's not, because we're gaining the skills in the process, we're realizing what's possible. And really the biggest, we're looking at this in a different way. Instead of trying to just make good videos, because we're trying to assure success in a short amount of time. So the idea of making quality content and putting it out there, we don't believe will get us there. So what we're really focusing on is making content with a unique value proposition kind of as our base, because there needs to be something there to watch. But really the marketing strategy we're going with, and this is an idea I had, is to get, because we're trying to get more eyeballs on the content. If the content is good, like there are members in this group who make great content that I genuinely want to watch all the way to the end, but they don't, that I could see somebody with over 1 million subs, multiple millions of subs making, but they don't have those subs. So really the trick is getting the eyeballs on that. So thought one is the challenge itself will do a lot of that. So we're going to, January 1st, it's a new year. There's going to be a bunch of people looking for things to do. We're going to, it's going to be 8 of us. The stakes are high. We're going to be connecting this to charity. So essentially our goal, our mission that we're putting out there is to prove that anybody can make money doing something that they love. So that's like our first layer of marketing. So we have the base content value, which is this synthesization. And to get the eyeballs, we are trying to like heavily market the challenge. So that's step one. It becomes more intriguing. So instead of like, why to wake up early, it's why to wake up early and support the mission of showing that anybody can make money doing what they love. And then we'll do updates on that. I think it'll be very valuable to the niche of people wanting to grow their channels, wanting to watch somebody do something audacious. And then we're going to connect it back to charity. I think we're going to do, if we hit our goal, then we will donate X amount to a charity that really synergizes. Nice. So a charity that gives people materials. So other than that, we're looking at other growth hacking strategies. Like I'm planning to do one of Mr. Beast's challenges. Like instead of counting to 100,000, count to 110,000. It'll take me like, 48 hours, throw in a tweet. Hey, Mr. Beast, I beat you. But guys, if you can get Mr. Beast, if you can retweet this, I'll give $1,000 to your charity, something like that, to get attention, creating some synergy, because we've really identified that the issue with getting subs quickly is not the quality. I believe that everybody in this challenge can make quality. We've vetted pretty heavily. It's getting the eyeballs. So I'm interested to narrow all that gobbledygook down into one question. Are there any, what viral strategies do you think would be prudent to solve with the assumption that the content is already good and valuable? What other ways do you see to bring eyeballs to that challenge to make our chance of success greater? Like, how would you do this if that was the challenge and you were waking up tomorrow?
So to make sure that I've understood, there is a group of you that are on 0 or close to 0 subscribers, and your goal is to get 1,000 subscribers within 1 month. And if you don't do it, you will delete your channels. And you're asking, how do we do it?
So very close. So 1,000 subs within the first week. Otherwise, any of us who don't make that are like, clearly we're not going hard enough. So then they're exempted from the burning of the ships. So the burning of the ships is for everybody else. The other 3 weeks of the month of January, 10,000, or we delete our channels.
Okay.
And we all have, the people we're letting in either have a track record of success in other areas of their life. Like I was able to be, I was able to run a hotel and stuff, which is cool. So I've got a record of taking action, but my YouTube, I don't have any sort of proven YouTube experience beyond basic production. Everybody else in the group though is very good at YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So
are you planning on just using videos or short form content as well?
Definitely shorts, a ton of shorts. We're thinking the requirements we set for the group are for the first period, a minimum of 3 shorts per day, and then 1 piece of quality long form content every 3 days.
Interesting. Okay. I like the idea of using shorts. From everything that I've seen, shorts are giving far more reach than normal YouTube videos. Your goal to get 1,000 subscribers within a week and 10,000 subscribers within a month. You cannot rely on the YouTube algorithm for this, which I think that you've picked up on well.
Yes.
It's a chance that the YouTube algorithm will work really well for you. There's also a chance that it won't. And there's also a chance that the YouTube algorithm will start working in your favor after the month is up, which I've seen happen. Yeah. I'm working with James Janney at the moment, so I have access to his YouTube analytics, and I see that he was uploading incredible videos. And then like 6 months or 3 months after he'd uploaded these videos, they blew up. So you can't rely on the algorithm. What you probably can rely on is other creators and other methods of generating attraction that are far more reliable. So one of the things that I would really, really heavily look into for you guys is trying to identify people with a large audience, and then trying to identify what would you have to create in order to get them to guarantee to share your content to more than those people. Mr. Beast could. If you do it, you'll probably get 10,000 subscribers, but there's a very low likelihood that he's going to share your stuff. He probably has people doing this sort of stuff nonstop every single day, creating these crazy things in order to try to get a shout out from Mr. Beast. So you have to look for creators that you think. One area I'm really interested in is Twitch streamers. So a large thing that Twitch streamers do is they react to videos, and they often have really large audiences of dozens of thousands of people watching live. And when they repurpose it across to YouTube, gets lots of attention there as well. And the nice thing about Twitch streamers is if you get in their chat or you donate to them $5, $10, there's a high likelihood that they're going to check out a video that you have linked, especially if it's related to them. There is a YouTuber called Ludwig that actually created this video as an experiment, where he created a YouTube video on a brand new account, and he managed to get big Twitch streamers to shout him out, and that grew his audience a lot. I think that could work well for you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for clarifying that, because I don't think we'd ever defined or specifically said the words, the YouTube algorithm isn't reliable enough for us to get the amount of subs. Just being able to articulate that, because we were, thinking about doing some stuff around that, but we hadn't actually, set that parameter. So it's really helpful from a mindset perspective and where we're taking action perspective to go, okay, we need to do this, assuming that the YouTube algorithm isn't going to pick up any of our videos.
Yeah, I think that you can massively increase the likelihood of the YouTube algorithm picking up your videos if you identify a highly trending topic and you create the best or the most interesting piece of content around that highly trending topic. Ideally, a piece of content that nobody has ever made before. Something's highly trending, there's high demand. And if you're able to find a piece of content that has low supply, something that nobody's done before, I think that has the highest likelihood of success with the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, that to me is tricky, because I feel like it's easier, you can either create perfect content, right, which is very, very hard by definition. Definitely use trends like that. That's an easier thing to do than creating perfect content. And I think even easier than that, I apologize, I'm gonna put my phone on mute, is the idea of creating marketing. So doing the Ludwig thing you talked about, because we can create good content, but not absolutely phenomenal content, and have that get reshared if we're providing value to the Twitch streamer. And the Ludwig, I have watched the Ludwig video. It's a really good one. He did that by making it about the Twitch streamer himself. And everybody likes to, click on like, oh, how did I succeed? How did this person think I succeeded? And stuff like that. So that seems like a very valuable approach. Thank you for that.
Also, is this, so the strategy that we've just talked about there of finding big creators with a big audience and creating content that you feel like they're going to reshare works really, really well on Twitter and Twitch. The reason it works well on Twitch is because people will literally react to the video live, and it works well on Twitter because Twitter has a built-in retweet function. So if we go to my Twitter, and I can share my screen and show, there's a cool little tool called Twemex that shows the, let me see, let me go to my profile. It shows the most liked posts that you have. And you see that my main one is about Naval. So I created this thread knowing that there's a high likelihood that Naval is going to retweet this thread, because basically I painted him in a very favorable light, and lo and behold, I got the Naval retweet, and the thread absolutely blew up. Most of my 19,500 followers on Twitter aren't actually from my YouTube audience or somewhere else. It's from these threads that have blown up. And that's another thing that you could consider doing.
How much would you, what other platforms would you utilize? So the Gary Vee, I've also read through that slide deck. I think it's a really good slide deck. like long term, obviously that's the play, right? You create content, you put it everywhere, just like you talked about with the different levels. In the context of a short challenge, specifically one of the parameters of the challenge is we're not allowed to pre-make content and bring it in. We are going to post content like literally midnight the night before to get some views and subs the next day. So we're, doing everything we can within those parameters. That's technically legal to try to skew things in our favor. But would you recommend, obviously there's some synergy specifically with what we're trying to do in a short period with Twitter and with Twitch, like you just said. But, where does Insta come in? Where does TikTok come in? Would you recommend that we spend any of our time at all with that, like trying to convert people over? Because subs is our goal. So
Yes.
we're funneling everything to that.
So followers don't count as subs.
Well, okay. So this challenge was initially going to be 10,000 followers, and then we all just collaborate together. It just so happens that the desire, because I was marketing this challenge to this group first, the majority of people in your synthesizer group want 10,000 subs. So at that point, it's like, okay, if everybody's going for subs, then let's, streamline our message, make things easier. And obviously there's more synergy that can happen with the do or die, just focusing on YouTube. So
I would definitely repurpose the shorts that you're making on Instagram Reels and TikTok. I've seen Instagram Reels provide the biggest reach for small accounts recently.
Yeah.
So that doesn't directly contribute to your goal, but it does take like 2 seconds to do it. I think you won't, there'll be no one from Instagram that will move across to YouTube, or at least very few people. So it doesn't actually directly serve the goal. So you may even want to ignore it, even if it's worth doing. Because you have such a weird goal that you've set, it's almost not worth doing because it's not in pursuit of the goal.
Yeah, that makes sense. To your point, there was a time in real estate where I was making real estate TikToks, and there was a site that would like automatically post it to those things. So it's only a waste if we're not, if it takes 2 seconds and we can get 1 sub from that, then maybe it's not a waste. But from everybody I've talked to in your community, I've gotten the sense that TikTok really doesn't convert well over to YouTube. I've been shown multiple case studies of somebody who has, 100,000 TikTok followers and like, hey, just come check out my YouTube channel. And then they have like 50 YouTube subs or something like that. So even if, to your point, even if it's taking mere seconds, it may not be worth it.
What's the tool called, by the way?
Sorry, say that again.
What's the tool that allows you to repurpose YouTube clips across Instagram Reels and TikTok?
I don't remember. Unfortunately, it's been 1.5 years, but it is out there. It exists.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. Another thing, I remember there was this YouTube channel that I think it uploaded daily for 1 year, and they told everybody that at the end of the year, their channel was going to be deleted. And it was this big event, and people got really interested in that, and it gave the YouTube channel even more attention. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. There we go. Unus Anus, I think was the word. And it worked really well. So you're probably already going to do that, but just be public about the challenge that you're doing, and people will follow and support simply because you're doing the challenge.
Yeah, we're thinking about another way to bring attention to it being, it's a new year. People want to, almost everybody wishes they could do what they love. Even that, it doesn't matter if you're a 13-year-old who wants to make your YouTube channel, or you're, 60-year-old still grinding at your office job. So we're thinking about making an appeal to like have people join along with us to create more of a viral trend. Like, hey, like do this with us every day, make a video to try to expand that reach.
That's great. I would go to the YouTubers subreddit. I would get yourself in every single new YouTuber Facebook group. I would just surround yourself with the community of people that want to get started in content creation, and you make this a thing that's involving all of those guys, and they're all going to watch your videos as well.
Yeah. That's what's really amazing about, you know, groups like this. There's just a huge amount of support. Do you happen to know some of those off your head? I've been, you know, it's December, so I can give my full attention to prepping, but I haven't had the time to try to locate other YouTuber groups.
The main ones that I think of is on subreddit. On Reddit, there's two. One of them is called New Tubers, and I think one of them is just small YouTubers. Just type in YouTube subreddit.
Sure.
Another one might be Entrepreneur, the subreddit. And then I know there's a bunch of different Facebook groups about new YouTubers. Just type in YouTube on Facebook. There'll be a bunch of different ones, although the quality will be very, very low. And then come up with like a challenge name. Say this is, you know, like Movember, where you don't shave in November. Come up with something for January. Make this like an event. Spend December promoting it. And then January, get everybody to start. Read the book Expert Secrets, which talks well about starting a movement. Put some of those things in place. And I think that talking about the movement will be the juice in the beginning. That'll be the fire starter.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole idea is not for this to come off like, ooh, support me to get 10,000 subs. It's meant to come across as like, hey, we're trying to break the barrier and show what people is possible. I mean, you mentioned earlier, like the cause and effect thing is much easier to follow if you believe that the effects you will get from doing the causes. So that's kind of the wider mission here, and that's what we're all very interested in. In terms of,
I think that mission is okay. I think that there's lots of people that have tried to prove that I'm going to be successful to prove anyone can do it. I think that the better angle there is that I'm going to try and specifically be successful on YouTube. If anybody else wants to be successful on YouTube, then join me.
Okay, so niche the movement down.
Yes.
Okay, because it's going to make it far more compelling. Okay. Well, cool. Thanks. That's probably not something I would have thought about. That's very valuable insight. Last question that immediately comes to mind is, and I'm sure you know this because you did research into whether something like the synthesizer school already existed. Is there another platform that's kind of like this, that, you know, and the idea of finding a group of like-minded people for this goal that you are aware of beyond like Reddit and Facebook?
Nothing jumps to mind.
Well, that's crazy. So this is, I mean, that makes sense why this group has had so much traction. And it feels like something that should have already existed, especially in 2022. I mean, media content generation has been around for a good amount of time. So, okay, well, cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
All good, all good. If you just mute yourself, that'd be great. The only other thing that I can think of was similar was ship 30 for 30, but that's about writing. Cool. Is there anybody else that wants to jump in the hot seat, or in preparation for tomorrow, shall we play some chess? Whichever one you guys would prefer, I am down to do. Go chess, says Fedor. More hot seat. It's 50-50. All right, we'll do one more hot seat if it's short, like 5-10 minutes, and then we'll play chess for the final 10 minutes. Here we go. Eli says, identify my goal, build a 50K following on TikTok. My problem is I don't post enough anymore because every video I start cutting and editing, I feel like it's not enough. Okay, so you want more followers on TikTok. The problem is that you're not uploading frequently because you believe that the video is not good enough. So there's either two worlds. One, you're right in your assumption and you should make better videos. Or two, your belief that the videos aren't good enough is incorrect. And in reality, the only way for you to figure out if it's correct or incorrect is to release the video. So if you reframe it in your mind that it is impossible to figure out if this video is good enough or not with 100% certainty, apart from uploading it, then maybe that can get you through the editing process, because you know that I don't know if it's actually worth it until I put it up. That could solve the first problem. Second problem, the video is not good enough. Then improve the video. Look at videos that you think are good enough, trying to figure out what your video has or what your video doesn't have that the videos that are good enough do have and try to emulate them. That will solve both of the different problems. Benedek says this video helps him with perfectionism. Nice. There you go. There's a video. Any other questions? Chat versus Kirby. Yeah, Leon. Ah, Leon's here. Yeah, for the chess, what I will do is I will create a link and I'll put it in the chat. And whoever the first person to click on that link is will play against me. And by the way, if you guys don't want to watch some people play chess, then feel free to do something else. It's not exactly the most productive piece of time. Nivas, unfortunately, I will not be clicking on your link. I'll be creating my own link. But you're well prepared though, Nivas. And by the way, for you guys to understand my skill rating, I've played a decent bit of chess, but I'm not that great. I do the same opening moves every single time. One sec, I'm just gonna make this link. I play the same move every time. I don't watch tutorials. I just play. I play for fun. I don't play to get better. So I'm gonna put it in the chat now, and whoever clicks on it first can play. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Right, I'll share my screen. There we go. Someone's played. My favorite chess YouTuber is a guy called Eric Rosen. He makes he's a very calm presence. Makes good videos about chess. Hello, what's this move? This guy's either really good or really bad. It's an interesting move. The suspense is killing me. Ten people have left, but there is still 53 people that want to watch me play chess. That's funny. There we go. Free pawn. Thank you. Hello. That's an interesting move. Right, I'm doing well. Just need to make sure I don't choke under the pressure. 48 spectators. Oh no. Oh no. I'm about to lose my bishop. Does this save it? No, I don't think it does. Oh, okay, fine. Got it back. That was stressful. I think that if this guy, Arakez, had moved his bishop back to like here, I would have lost my bishop. Oh no, I've just realized that he could be reading the chat. And people could be helping him. Yeah, I'll take that. There we go. Move that bishop out of attack and defend this pawn. By the way, in chat, can you guys leave how good you are at chess? Or maybe like how many games you've played? And that will give me an indicator of whether I need to explain what I'm doing. Yes, Ryan, we will be posting the recording of this call. Nivas has played 600 games. Mario has played over 500. Matthew knows how the pieces work. Nice. Me about 24. Explaining would be appreciated. Okay. My father forced me to play it with him for 18 years. Damn, Cornelius. Free pawn h4. Oh no, Leon, you absolute cheater. Yeah, now it's a free pawn. But it wasn't before because that's defended. But now this is here we go. Clever stuff. Defends that pawn, takes the free pawn. But I've realized this is now a free pawn. Oh no, I shouldn't have said that because now I had a rug. No, Noob Andrew. I just told him what to do. Time Right, I'm going to try castle. It was pretty cool to see that at this. I think the peak that we got to on this call was 66. And then right at the end, I think we were at 61 or something. Now we're down at 40. Time to make some moves. See you later, Johnny. By the way, what did you guys think of this live stream? Give it a rating out of 10. And once you've given it a rating out of 10, let me know one way that you think this could have been improved. 7 out of 10 needs more structure. 8 out of 10. Nice. Okay. Oh, no. That was dumb. Imagine I've just lost. Just lost my queen. Most interesting thing that is everyone gives value with link and resources. Nice. Yeah, I mean, this could be a more regular thing. We shall see. Needs more engagement. Do you mean engagement with people in the chat? Do you mean engagement with me what do you mean by more engagement? I'd like to have the list with topics ready for check though. Yeah. I might suggest you do like 10 people at a time. Maybe. Probably not though. Reason being. I mean, I guess 10 could work if the purpose of doing it is to get clips, because then those clips go out to more people. But if that's not the case, then it's like, why would I limit 10? You know? Spread it out for the whole week. Yay, the live stream is the best thing I did this Saturday. Oh, damn, I need to concentrate. Found it very inspirational. Cool. Let's go. They call that the fork. So you see how that knight is attacking a queen and two, the triple fork. It's attacking two rooks and a queen, which means that you can move one of them, but you can move them all. So I will nom up that queen. Yes, the recording will be in the Synthesizer school. Can you share that niche choosing spreadsheet that you shared at the start? Probably not, but if you just go back through the recording and pause it, you'll be able to get it. What a pro forker. Yes, Owen. Okay. You know what? I think I'm safe to take that because it's defended in two ways. So if I take that, he takes me there. I take him with that, he takes me there. Yeah. So I think I can take that. Wish you all a fantastic time. It was an honor to be here tonight. Yeah, appreciate everyone for showing up. You guys have things to do, then feel free to leave. I appreciate everyone for being here. It was fun. I think this is pretty much me winning at this point. Interesting life being a streamer full time. It's definitely an interesting experience having 33 people watch you play chess. Right. I don't know the best way to end this, so I'm just going to get a queen. Matt says, I can't wait to spend the next 3 hours watching Eric Rosen videos. No, what have I done? The synthesizer mission has failed. Oh, he's resigned. Cool. That's the end of the game. No more games. That's been fun. Appreciate everyone for showing up. If you have any feedback on how I can improve, please let me know. Message me on school or do something, get in contact with me somehow. But this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate your time. And I will see you in the Synthesizer School.